I keep an open mind. This is what it means to have an open mind. Stop with the thinking and the what-ifing and all the rest of it. Because here's the thing. When you know everything is already taken care of, creation has it, and you know it's going to be perfect, and that if you stand in truth, the universe will stand with you, and it does. What do you got to worry about? So that leaves you plenty of time to clear your mind. And I hear all the what-ifs and what have yous. I get it. I totally get it. And don't forget where I came from. Don't forget what I've been through and what was on the table when I decided to get that close to, I'm not going to file taxes. Stop. It's got a legal name attached to it. Why would you do that and continue your own fraud? Give away money that's yours, especially if you're self-employed. You know? It's just dumb. So keep it. Know who you are. This game's over, and we're dealing with time that's very short right now, so you need to get your head right out of that box and stop worrying about the 1040s and the 1099s and the UCC and all the rest of this shit, guys. You need to stop. Just out and out stop. Because what you're doing there is you've got a puzzle box with all sorts of puzzle pieces, and all you're doing is rearranging the fucking pieces in the box. Staying literal. Oh, there's another literal. I know what that piece is. Okay, I'll put it back in the box. Oh, here's another piece. Oh, yeah, I know what that piece is. Put it back in the box. Yeah, so few have taken the pieces out. Oh, I know what that is. Now, where's the other piece that fits with that? Do you know how a puzzle works, right? You keep looking until you find the piece that matches and it joins together. That's your life. That's your game. Your game is simple. You're the only one that knows your game because you're the only one that walked it and lived it. So look for all of your puzzle pieces that connect together. And there's one common denominator that connects them all. Here is your master cornerstone to your puzzle. It's called legal name. And have a look at everything that you've ever done in relevance to that one simple thing. And your puzzle pieces will start to come together for you very quickly. Very quickly. When you understand that the legal name is the holy grail of the dead moon crown system. That's why it's called money. I've had a few epiphanies, of course. This is just normal now. You guys know this. But let's have a look at the moon eye. Let me connect it to all currencies on the planet. And why in God we trust is printed on the Federal Reserve note. Because the Federal Reserve Bank, or the Federal Reserve note, is the default currency upon which all other planetary currencies are currently pinned and pegged to, which means every other currency is valued based on the U.S. fiat debt note. So that connects every currency on the planet. Of course, it's all Rothschild anyway, right? So it's one family, whatever, who cares? Won't they be surprised? Mama's here. Better shape up, buddies. You guys are toast. Wouldn't suck to be you if you, hey, read Babylon Has Fallen. Come to terms with your own harm against humanity and set yourself free. That's my wish. Here's your soul back if you want it. I don't care what you've done to me or the rest of the planet. I have no vengeance. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to observe, and if there is anything to judge, it's me. So I'm going to observe self. Okay? So let's get back to the moon eye. Right? So if all the currencies on the planet are pegged together, and it's all called money, or moon eye, what exactly is the God we trust in? Well, the God that they trust in is the moon. That's why it's called money. And what is the moon, allegorically, anagogically? Well, the moon represents a dead orb that I have a sneaky suspicion was dragged into orbit around 701 BCE. Why do I say that? Well, because all calendars around the planet and all cultures went from a 360-day-a-year calendar to a 365-day-a-year calendar. And that totally makes sense when you consider the mass of the moon and the fact that it's orbiting the Earth, creating a pole. So that creates to the Earth, so it's magnetically attached to the Earth that way, therefore making the entire Earth heavier. So as a result, it's going to go further away from the sun. So it makes sense that it would take 5 days longer with the moon in orbit to go around. I'm talking trail, right? I don't want to get into the literals. Okay, just stay with me on this. It's so simple. So what we're dealing with there is something that was brought in to throw the entire orbit out of balance and screwing up our time, literally, right? So the seasons get extended by a day and a quarter, I guess. Yes, 1.25 days, 5 days, right? Roughly. So there you go. Stop and think about that for a minute. So I'm going to ask the questions always of why. Okay, 701 BCE, why did the calendar change by 5 days? And then, of course, it was changed again, the Julian calendar, Gregorian calendar, and all the rest of this stuff, just to coincide to bring everything more or less back into balance, where Ptolemy had all the perfect math worked out, and then people like Copernicus and Galileo come in and mess it all up by claiming a heliocentric. Have a look at Ptolemy's work. He was around for a while, a lot long time before the likes of Copernicus and Galileo, who, by the way, are both known to be of the Vatican. So, excuse me, it just depends on who you're going to believe and who's getting paid for what, right? So I prefer to go to the cultures that weren't really into the money thing, right? But let's have a look again at the relevance of the moon. And this is one of the first subjects I tackled 6 years ago. Right, the hollow moon, the fact that it's, I think it's billions of years older than the Earth, has nothing in common with the Earth, nothing in common with the solar system really, and it's placed perfectly where an eclipse is created across the sun. It's at the perfect distance. Ratios, it was placed perfectly in orbit as a ratio. Right? Have a look at it. I mean, all this was covered so many times on so many shows, so I don't want to get back into it. Just have a look at all of these little idiosyncrasies and synchronicities that just don't add up. They're okay. You want to talk about coincidence? That's just a bit much. So no coincidence? Then why? All right. Well, I'm trying to explain why. So what we have now is the worship of the moon, the false goddess, the dead crown whore corporation, the queen of the dead, Sin, Circe, excuse me, she goes by many names. Morgan Le Fay is represented in the tarot as well. So how is that such a big deal? Well, let's have a look at it anagogically. If the moon wasn't there before and it suddenly shows up, that's going to change the entire perspective of everyone on the planet, because all of a sudden they've got this new orb to look at and worship at night. And that's the other thing, too, is it never allows for a true night on Earth. Think about that. Because when the light is reflecting off the sun during its cycles, spirit calls, during its 28-day cycles, and of course women are tied right to that, there's another hint for you. 28-day cycle, right? What happens? Well, you're getting reflected light, so you're getting an unnatural light poisoning the dark. This is why there is light in one half of the day and dark in the other. So it's going to throw a lot of stuff out of whack. So there's never truly, even with a new moon, you never truly get completely dark. And that's where you need to be, completely dark. All the other correlations that go along with it, it ties right into the Whore of Babylon, Cronus concept as well. So here's a false god. Let's call her Lucifer now. Satan, whatever you want to call that allegory, that whatever character you need to use to give you the concept, use that one. But think of the fallen one who is seeking to be worshipped as a god or goddess. Right? All of the planets, well, they have a core. They have a heart. Well, the moon, well, it's hollow. Right? It's empty. It's devoid. Trying to pretend to be a planet.